What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over ranking our top 10 centers right now in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. Now, before we do that, dive into that, I do want to preface this video by saying, look, there are a lot of, cards that would make the list if I included everybody, right? If I included, all of the GOAT cards, things would get a little bit crazy, but I'm not going to include any of the GOAT cards because unless you're spending, 3 million, you're not getting them. I'm not including any of the Invincibles because, again, unless you're spending a ridiculous amount, I'm not including them. Patrick Ewing, to me, is more a power forward than a center. However, looking at my list, just being honest with you guys, I'd probably have Pat Ewing right at number 6 or 7 on this list. So I really like Patrick Ewing. He's just more of a power forward to me. Brook Lopez was on my power forward list. Brook Lopez would probably be in here as I'm looking at this, probably at again, number 6 or 7 right in there. That is definitely playable. Same thing with Nate Thurmond if you wanted to include him. I like those cards, but again, Invincible wise, I decided not to rank them. So just kind of something to think about. Also, Greg Oden didn't make the list, but I thought about plugging him in at number 10. At my number 10, I am plugging in Dark Matter Mark Eaton. In today's game, I guess, I'm thinking of it too. Him as well. I'm going to move him to number 11, and I'll explain why here in a second. But in today's game, Mark Eaton's really solid. Defensively, he's gonna be a beast. He's gonna be able to go out there and compete against the best bigs in the game, and I think that's important, right? Guys that can go out there and compete against Wemby and compete against Yao. But again, offensively, I just don't think he is that elite of the elite, and so that's kind of the tough part about Mark Eaton. I think he's good. I just don't think he's next level good, which is why I am throwing in Galaxy Opal Wemby at my number 10. I do think Galaxy Opal Wemby gives you slightly more than a Greg Oden, slightly more than a Mark Eaton. But I just think at this stage, Galaxy Opal Wemby, he just isn't going to rebound the ball as well as some of the other top bigs. Defensively, he's not bad, but he's just not going to be quite as good as some of those other top bigs. And so it's tough. I've got Galaxy Opal Wemby in here at my number 10. At my number 9, we are plugging in Dikembe Mutombo. So yes, it's official. I like Dikembe Mutombo more than Victor Wembanyama. If you weren't certain on that, well, now you are. It's one of those things. I just think Dikembe gives you a more of an overall player. It's not that, Wemby is bad or Wemby is worse offensively because Wemby's the better offensive player. It's just when you're looking at the overall cards, Dikembe is 7'2". He can still shoot over people. He's still got a quick-ish release. And defensively, he's an absolute stud, absolute beast. So I'm not saying Wemby's bad. Don't even try to sit there and say that that's what I'm trying to say because that's not the case. I just personally, when you're looking at this, thank God Dikembe gives you slightly more, especially on that defensive side of the ball, the defensive end of the court. Next up, at number 8, I do see Kristaps Porzingis, 100 overall. Obviously, wherever Kristaps is, there is Shaq. Obviously, there's Invincibles of both these cards. You can get better than them. But if you did get either of them out of 100 overall packs, that's why they're on this list. They're really good cards. And so I like KP. I like Shaq. Obviously, again, as time goes on, we're getting better and better cards. I don't necessarily love the 100 overall Shaq's release. I've never really loved it. But again, he makes up for that with this player model player build, to still be deserving of being on this list and high-ish on this list as well. So I think Shaq's better defensively. I think KP probably gives you slightly more offensively. But again, wherever one is, the other one's got to be because there's just simply not enough to separate them. And I mean, it is what it is, but that's just the case. There's just not nearly enough between them to have any separation. At my number 6, I am plugging in Dark Matter Rick Smits. Now, I feel like Rick Smits is not a card that a lot of people have. I feel like he's not talked about a ton. But I'm here to tell you guys, Rick Smits is extremely good on this game. If you got Rick Smits, you got an absolute beast, an absolute stud at that center position. And what more could you ask for? I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking at with Rick Smits is he's 7'4". He's going to knock down shots. He plays solid defense. To me, I think I'd have more success with Rick Smits than my number 5 on this list. The problem is I know other people and I've played against my number 5 and he gives me problems. So again, I like Rick Smits. As far as release wise, he is going to be solid as well. He's going to play decent defense. One thing about Rick Smits and my number 5, which you guys will see here in a second, is if you've got a coach that boosts the speed, that's going to, I don't want to say be a necessity, but that's going to help these cards out a lot. Because that 86 speed is obviously at this stage not great. Really do like what Rick Smits gets into on the floor. At my number 5, it's Taco Fall. Main difference here, Taco is just taller than Rick Smits, right? That's the main difference here. Taco 7'5", long wingspan. Rick Smits only 7'4". Both cards are good, guys. Both cards can play at a really high level. It just comes down to whatever you personally prefer. And again, for me, it is the fact that I just think, Taco gives you slightly more. It is close. I just think Taco with that height gives you slightly more solid release, basic leaners, okay, hot spots for everywhere. Like I said, when I've played against Taco, he's given me problems. And so at the end of the day, even if I don't necessarily love Taco, I feel like I gotta at least respect him. And so he is in here at my number 5, more so than anything because of his height, right? Like, if he wasn't 7'6", the card wouldn't even probably be on this list. If he was even 7'3", he would not be on this list. But he is, I guess, 7'5" in this year's game. And incredibly good. At my number 4, we're plugging in Fireworks Zydrunas Ilgauskas. I personally haven't used the card. He's 600,000 MT. I've got a good team. But from what I'm hearing and what people are saying, Big Z's got a quick release. He's got a good player build. He's 7'3". Every stat for him is going to be 100 or higher. There's just no downsides to what Big Z provides for you guys at all. The only downside is his price. And like I said, he is 100 overall, so you could get the card objectively for free with all the things that, are in the game. For me, when I'm looking at Big Z, you're looking at an incredibly good 100 overall. I mean, he's incredible, guys. Offensively, elite. Defensively, can go out there and compete against the top dogs. No, he's not necessarily, GOAT Yao level, but he is really, really solid. And I think, if you got Big Z, you got a really good card. At my number 3, we're plugging in 100 overall Victor Wembanyama. And here's the thing, guys. I don't think Wemby is that much, if at all, better than Big Z. I got to be honest with you. Like, Wemby is going to be more expensive. And I don't even know if he is better than Big Z. You want me to be honest? I am. Like, I think both those cards are obviously really good. Thing about Wemby is he's just cheesy because he has all of those animations, like the Wemby fade's good, all those types of things. But again, compared to Big Z, it is what it is. It's just kind of tough to, to put him higher. But I do think objectively he is very slightly higher than Big Z. Both cards going to give you similar things. At my number 2, we are plugging in 100 overall Yao Ming. Think Yao is really good. I will stand by the fact that I don't like Yao's release, and I think a lot of people are kind of struggle with it. It's kind of, it's a slower release, and so I get why people struggle. But at the end of the day, Yao is still going to be 7'6". He's still going to get every rebound in the game. He is still going to be an absolute menace defensively. Again, the problem is I just really do not love that Yao Ming release. And I know a lot of people are going to hate on me for it because it's like, his release isn't that bad. But to me, it just boils down to like, is that really what we want? Is that release? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too negative, but I really do not love that Yao Ming release on this game. At my number 1, the best center right now in the game, the best attainable center is Ralph Sampson. Now, obviously, if you got Sean Bradley's really good. He is, you can't get better than him. But for me, I do think Invincible Ralph is the best card featured on this list right here. And you could get him. If you grinded out the challenges, you could absolutely get Ralph being no money spent. Thing for me with Ralph is he's 7'4". He's got a smooth jump shot. Defensively, he's off the charts good. I have really no flaws with Ralph. I think he's the most complete card on this list. Now, if you want to put Yao higher than him, I get it. And honestly, I'm not going to argue with you on it. Maybe I'm just being biased because I got Ralph, but I absolutely love the card. And again, you could play him at that power forward position. Honestly, I think he's best at that power forward position. That's going to wrap it up for us ranking our top centers in the game, our top attainable-ish centers in the game. Obviously, you could have some other cards here featured. Like, I didn't even put, like, Dark Matter Kareem. I still like him as a card if you're running him. So, like, the list does go on and on. That's going to wrap it up for our video. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments, guys. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.